Good morning, good morning. It's nice to see you. Good morning again. Okay, well, I'm Connie, over 70, and still glamorous. I think. It's all in fun, that name, by the way, okay? My daughter thought I should have had like a tag or something, but I said, "Oh no, they got all kinds of different names. The Beauty Diva, Fabulous, 50s, stuff like that. It's all in fun. It's girly stuff. Okay, all right. Well, couldn't think of what I want to talk about today, but uh, I'm going to share about my love story. Yes, my love story. It all started 38 years ago when I lived in West Covina. And I had gotten off at work at midnight, so I always went dancing after work. My kids were asleep, so there was no reason to run home. Okay, and then I walked into the club, was going to listen to the music, and I go to dance because I'm a dancer. Okay. Uh, I didn't know that my husband was sitting at the bar, and when he saw me come in to the dark lounge under a big arch with lights all around me, he said that he almost choked on his drink. And this is what he told me, later on. And I didn't see him at that time. So I sat down, ordered a glass of Chablis, and a little while later I noticed this handsome fellow, he's 5 years younger than me, sitting just a couple of tables from me. That he wasn't there before. So I looked at him, and the first thought that came to my mind was, boy, he's really a handsome guy, but he's probably a jerk. So I put him out of my mind. Didn't think about it. A little while later, I turn around, and he says, would you like to dance? And I said, okay. So we've been dancing and being together for 38 years ever since that night. Didn't marry him till 5 years later because at the time I had only been divorced about a year, and it was my second marriage. In between was a engagement that I broke off, and wasn't really looking to be married again. My kids were already in high school, hadn't graduated yet quite from high school, so I didn't really see any need to be married, and we just started dating right away. And at that time, I was living with my mom, still looking for an apartment for my second divorce. So we met for an early dinner the night before. The night after our first official date together at the club. And he starts telling me all these crazy stories like, well, I've been seeing a girl for 3 years, but I called her today and told her that I met the girl that I want to marry. And I said, what, are you nuts? Just like that. And he just kind of chuckled. He says, no, I know exactly what I wanted. And I hate to say this, but, she was just an in-betweener or something like that. I forget what. And I just kind of chuckled and just laughed the whole thing off. As we started to talk, I told him about my situation, being divorced and looking for an apartment, and been looking for, oh gosh, about 9 months. And he says, well, move in with me. And I said, what? You must be crazy. What's wrong with you? So I didn't accept that night. And he was going on saying, oh yeah, you can live with me. I just bought a brand new 2-story condo in Ontario. And at that time he was traveling all the way to El Monte. So he says, it's only me there. So we had our dinner, and of course I had to go to work that night, so we said our goodbyes and whatever. We met up the next night after work. Of course he came into the cocktail lounge and where I worked, and we went out after 12 and went to go dancing. And he started to tell me more about why it was a good idea that he should move in with me, and that he was a good guy. Well, to be honest with you, I kind of knew from the very beginning when he started talking that he was a good guy. Yes, he had the corners, and he used to tell his people, she really rubbed off my edges. So eventually I said, okay. So I moved in with him. Everything was going great. We were not officially a couple. We were just dating a lot and helping each other out and so forth and so on. My kids liked him. They were surprised that I was moving in with a younger man. They thought I was moving in with an old guy. And I said, no. So I never lived with anybody else before except my two husbands. So we move in together. I go into his condo, and we're probably in there for about, I don't know, I want to say 6 or 8 months. And before I moved in, we had an agreement that we would not bring anybody to the condo. You know, pretty much live your life the way you want to, and we're just kind of filling each other out and getting to learn to know each other more and stuff like that. So one night I come home, and my daughter gets up to greet me at the door and says, Mom, he had a girl here tonight. I said, he did? Huh. So I slept in her bedroom that night. And in the morning, he was kind of walking around with his tail between his legs. I said, so I heard you had a girl here last night. He says, yeah, it was his ex-girlfriend of 3 years. So I said, okay, well, I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and start looking again for an apartment. No problem. Better to find out now than, wait later on as far as I'm concerned. So he didn't say too much because by now he already knew when I made up my mind. I made up my mind. And there was nothing more to talk about. And we stayed very amicable. It was no big deal, So as fate would have it, thank you, Lord, at the time I'm saying that, I found an apartment before the week was over. So I told him, I'm moving, and gave him the date. And I do think he was a little stunned because the first time it had taken me so long and I hadn't found a place yet. So I moved into a 2-story condo, and he said I could use this garage to store my things as I gradually got in there because I had to go to work at night, So I did that. So one night I called him and I said, I want you to know I want to go over to your place. He had given me a key and a way to get in the garage and get the rest of my things. Now, mind you, he was way in El Monte. His house was in Ontario, which was a good hour away. And where I was going to be traveling to his place was probably about 30 minutes. So I get there and he's already there. So he must have drove like a bat out of hell to meet me there or to see me or whatever he had in his mind. I don't know. So I got my things, put them in the car, said, hope everything's okay. And just a footnote, he looked horrible. He did. I'm not tooting my own horn. I don't know what he went through in that, couple of weeks or whatever, but he looked really bad. Very thin, very drawn, and whatever. So we said goodbye, and he asked if he could have the number, and I said, okay, you can have the phone number. So I gave him the phone number, and I think a couple of times he wanted to go out, but I wasn't ready to go out with him. I had a lot of things to do now. I just moved into a new place, and things were going good at work, and I was already dating 2 other guys, and nice guys too. So then finally he called one night and asked if he could come over, and I said okay. And so the kids were outside, and they said, "Oh, Paul's coming down, down the street." So I walk outside, and I don't know what it was, but as soon as I saw him, I thought, I think I'm in love with this guy. So, long story short, he asked if he could move into my condo, and he let his condo go because at that time the market tanked, and so he was way above water, and it wasn't worth holding on to it in his mind. And so we lived together for oh gosh, about a year, and we decided together that we were going to leave the San Gabriel Valley and move to Orange County. So we did. We moved to Orange County. Things are going great. He was, working a lot. At that time, he was a car salesman, and I was still working the nightclubs, and everything worked out good. He was sleeping while I was at work, pretty much, and when I got home, he'd be ready to wake up. So that's how we went for quite a while. And then, oh, so much to tell. Maybe I'll do a part 2 later. Okay, anyway, the next thing I'm going to talk about is, by the way, we're still together. What I learned from YouTube in this last month and a half. Yes, so I'm kind of thinking the first thing that I learned too, because I started watching the makeup channels, was I didn't have to put mascara on the bottom of my eyelashes anymore, because I used to really load it on there. Now remember, I think I told you before, I used to wear 2 pair of eyelashes on top and 2 pair of eyelashes on the bottom. And so that was great. I could just put my coloring under there and not have to worry about the eyelashes if I didn't want to. I also learned how to use the computer much better, because once my husband told me how to get on YouTube, how to make my videos, and how to do all that technical stuff, it was of great value to me. And he's always been very helpful in everything I did. Even when I made my first CD, he was more than willing to pay for everything, and so it was great. I learned that I do have a style of dressing. Never really paid much attention to it. Didn't change anything when I came on YouTube, but as I started filming myself, I thought to myself, that's a cute looking outfit. So what I did was I took pictures of myself in all my outfits, and then I just have to look them up, decide what I want to wear. So obviously I still have a lot to learn, on the computer and stuff like that. But I realized that I loved fashion, and I thought that that would probably be what I posted most of the time. Although I think I've done 2 cooking videos, and I don't think it's turning into a cooking video or channel. And another thing I learned was that it's okay to be glamorous. I get lots of joy out of it, and the people that I run into seem to really appreciate it too. It's like any old barn looks better when it's painted. Am I not right? Yes, I am. So I realize that we all have a Marilyn Monroe inside of us. Some of us never let her out. I've been letting her out since I was 12. But it's okay. It doesn't mean you have a split personality. I'm sure even the gals that don't wear a lot of makeup and maybe like to be very casual with the sweatpants or whatever, mommy situations, who knows. But when they get dressed up, they feel totally different. You feel better. You know that you feel uplifted. You know that you feel prettier. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Another thing, I've got 5 or 6 people who are always sending me little rings. The computer has a little bell, so I'll call it, calling me. And I want to thank you girls. Nathalie. And, I have a list somewhere. Where is that list? Nathalie. Oh, Ellen. Cindy Pass. And 6699. And also Palm Springs Cindy. They're like my pen pals. So hi, girls. Don't really know how I'm doing on YouTube. If it's progressing, if it's doing any good. Somebody told me that I had a couple of videos that were removed, which I don't understand the whole process, because I've seen videos on YouTube that, 7, 8, 9 years old, and maybe it's because they have a lot of views, or you have to have a certain amount of views. I think I only have 2,100 views now or something like that. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm still having fun, so I'll continue for as long as the ride takes me. You know, I'm always like, whatever, okay. Girls just wanna have fun. And so that's it for today, Tuesday. I will talk to you another time. Hope you enjoyed and got something out of this video. And I'm Connie, over 70, and still glamorous. Take care and be blessed. Adios. So here you have a fairly old picture. The back of it says 1978, 1980. Hadn't moved into his condo yet. And this one is 2008. Now my husband had very dark hair when we met, but he had gray on the sides. And now he's a handsome silver fox. And this is my sweetie pie now.